5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're now tuned into the 411 podcast and reading between the wines, powered by the Black Diamond Consultations Network. More than a podcast, this is a sanctuary for self-discovery, healing, and personal growth. Here, we explore what it means to live debt-free, not just financially, but spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally. Every episode is part of a journey across our weekly mentorship series: Spiritual Sundays, Mental Mondays, Transformational Tuesdays, Wind Down Wednesdays, Coaching Sessions Thursdays, and Financial Fridays. Each day holds space for wisdom, clarity, and real conversation. So grab your journal, pour your glass, and prepare to go beyond the surface. Because here, we don't just talk, we transform. And now, here's your guide through it all: entrepreneur, mentor, and founder of Black Diamond Consultations, Laren Gaines.
What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome on in. Welcome to the 411 podcast. Thank you so much. If you're out there, I want to say thank you so much for joining. If you could please do me a favor, please like, comment, share, subscribe, but most importantly, tag a friend, share this video with a friend, share this episode with a friend, and bring them on in, because you never know what you're going to get from the 411 podcast. We are on episode 43. The cost of flexing. This 5 restoration. This is part of the mentorship series. So welcome on into Financial Fridays. And for some reason, I am feeling just absolutely amazing. And I'm thankful for that. I mean, we're going to have a great, amazing show tonight. I just have energy beyond, energy beyond energy, and I'm bringing it tonight. So welcome on in. In the meantime, please go ahead and share this video. And yeah, we were rocking. We were rocking in here. We're going to rock through this episode, and we're going to rock when we come out of here tonight. And let's get right on into it. Before we move on, of course, I have to give a very special thank you to my executive producer. I want to thank God for giving me another opportunity to come out here and give you the 411 podcast. Things could have gone in so many different directions today, and not just in my life, but just in your life as well. All of our lives, we have a choice. God has given us plenty of choices to make. We can either go left or we can either go right. We can take the easy path or we can take the hard path. And some say you take the easy path now, the latter part of your days will be harder. If you take the hard path now, the latter days of your life will be easier. And there is no coincidence. The same thing and the same concept applies when it comes to your financial future as well, your financial life, the financial aspect of your life. If you grind and you work hard now, your latter days will be easy. The people who are asleep at the wheel right now and are taking the easy street, unfortunately, their latter days will be harder. So right now, as we are embarking on Financial Friday, get your pad, get your pen, pour that glass, and as we dive in, take notes, because this is some real life situations here that we're going through. And yeah, let's open up here. All right, so episode 43, the cost of flexing. Now, before we get into tonight's episode, I want to go ahead and take it back. First of all, let me give a very special thank you to Author Birdman 313 for hanging in there with me. We had some technical difficulties with the system on Wednesday, and we were a little bit delayed. So for anyone out there that missed Reading Between the Wines, if you came on at the normal time at 7 p.m. and we were not there, we were there. We were just about an hour late. So the replays are available on YouTube. So go ahead and check that out, as well as on Spotify, Deezer, iHeartRadio, Audacity, Pocket Cast, the whole nine. Wherever you listen to your podcast, you can check out that replay. But on Reading Between the Wines this past Wednesday, we helped Miss Tina from Cleveland, Ohio. And Tina was going through a lot of different things. And I look at it as we needed to go through some spiritual healing. We needed to focus on spiritual wellness because it seems that there was a lot of validation, seeking validation outside of herself. I will read the lines that she wrote in her letter, and I will basically break it down to where I felt that there was a major issue. So the first line that she wrote is, in her relationship, when she dated somebody for 3 years, when she expressed herself, he called her dramatic. I don't think that that's a major setback right there, although it's not nice. I don't believe that it's a major setback. The second thing that really struck me was this line here: if I had standards, I was ungrateful. So many things are wrong with this line. If I had standards, I was ungrateful. So, first of all, if you had standards, that's the problem. You didn't have standards, because if Tina had standards, we wouldn't even be having a conversation about Tina. She allowed someone to come in and infiltrate and take over. The fact is that she did not have standards, because if she did, there would be no need to even write the letter. So she didn't have standards, and she allowed someone to run all over top of her. And on top of that, they were allowed to call her ungrateful. See, in my book today, you only have one time to do that before we can say that it's a wrap. And when you let these people infiltrate the system and overstep boundaries and you don't check them right away, you might as well just hang it up. And then the last one she wrote is, if I wanted affection, I was needy. That reminds me of the song from Ariana Grande, Needy. At first, when I heard this record, I was like, all right, got a catchy little tune to it. It sounds nice. Her voice is amazing. But then once I woke up a little bit and I think of the concept of that song, Needy, I don't like it. When we're needy, excuse me, let's back this thing up. If you want affection and someone is not giving you what you want, then we need to do something about it. You don't stay in a situation where it's not working and someone is saying, oh, you're too needy. You want this, you want that. Align with people that make sense. Watch that replay if you want to find out how we help Miss Tina out. But there's a lot going on with this here. And it basically, for me, I say Tina needs to focus on some spiritual wellness. She needs to heal, focus on spiritual wellness, because when you know who you are, people will know who you are. When you don't know who you are, you allow people to be able to shape you and mold you into what they want you to be. And then somewhere along the lines, you will wake up. We all wake up at different points of our lives. Some of us wake up and we realize, wow, who am I? What is this situation? Why did I sign up for this? I don't like this. I don't like you. Now, how the hell do I make this thing go away? And that's the tricky part right there. So I want to, help people and spread the word and spread awareness that maybe we can catch these things ahead of time so that we don't get put in those situations. Unfortunately, we can't save the world. So we're not going to be able to save everybody. However, we are creating, you know, content such as this to be able to help people who might be in the storm and are trying to get out. But if we can save people from going in a storm, that's even better. But at least we have the tools, at least we have the support to be able to help along the journey. Welcome on into Financial Fridays. Let's get into the song of the day. We getting ready to go in now. Song of the day, All Falls Down by Kanye West featuring Syleena Johnson. Before I even get into this, I love both of these artists. I love Kanye West for the realness that he speaks. And I know a lot of people say he's very controversial and he says things that are just out there, and people can feel how they want to feel about Kanye West. But for people who can see past it, and for people who have eyes and ears to catch on, and they can, I can say it tonight, when they can read between the lines, then they kind of get where Kanye West is coming from. But Again, you have to sift through and you have to dig through. And yes, there's some entertainment in front, and there's a lot of other things out there, but the real ones, when you can dig through all of it, see, you got to dig through and you got to get what you need to get and you got to throw away the rest. There's some realness underneath what he's speaking about, and people don't like that. The system doesn't like that. The world doesn't like that. And because of that, it could be a problem. So I'm gonna get off of that, but there's some realness behind what he's speaking, and because he speaks the real, and because he is breaking away from the system or whatever he's doing, whatever you want to call it, there's some pushback, and not everybody is going to like Kanye West. Just like this podcast episode tonight, not everybody's going to like it because I'm going to get into it and speak the truth behind it. Syleena Johnson, what an amazing voice. An amazing voice. I do not believe that she gets the credit that she deserves, but wow, when I think of Syleena Johnson, I think of a modern day Shaka Khan. No one can top Shaka Khan's voice. There will never be another Shaka Khan. And I truly believe the same thing about Syleena Johnson. In my book, Syleena Johnson is the modern day Shaka Khan when it comes to that voice. She may not hit notes like Shaka, but she has that distinct voice where you're like, damn, I know that's Syleena. As soon as she opens her mouth, Syleena Johnson. Released in 2004 off of the College Dropout album, Song of the Day, All Falls Down. So, is it such a bad thing if you were a college dropout? And I'm not here to try to tell you that that's okay, but I'm here to tell you tonight that it's also not the end of the world. See, I was always told that you had to go to school and you had to go to college and get good grades so that you'll be able to get a good job and, you know, be a good, citizen, be productive, mean something, contribute to the world. This is not always the case. Ladies and gentlemen, there are other avenues out there that you can take that'll get you to the promised land. And if you are smart enough, you'll be able to make more money than people who actually go to college. See, the system does not want you to know that. The world does not want you to know that. And there is no coincidence that student loan debt is through the roof. And also, might I say that student loan debt is the only debt that is unforgiven. So you can get rid of and consolidate credit card debt. You can get past, you know, a car repossession. You can get past foreclosure. Not saying that you won't have to pay it back, but the amount that you owed in the beginning, there's ways to get around it to where you can owe less. You can work out deals. You can negotiate. You can do all types of things. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining into Financial Fridays. You can get past and you can negotiate and you can downgrade. You can do all types of things to get out of all types of debt. But the one debt that you will not be able to get out of is student loan debt. Now, why would you think that the world, the system, wants everyone to go to school? Paints all of these dreams. Go to school, become this, become that. Oh, you can't go to school because you can't afford it? Not a problem. Sign up for this student loan debt. And by the way, when you get out, no one tells you that majority of them will not even be able to find a job in the field that they went to school for. And on top of that, now they have to struggle and work 2 and 3 jobs just to get past the student loan debt. And then we going to go in. And then don't make a mistake and have children and get married. Now you have more bills on top of it. Oh, and if we get married and we have children, we have to do what the world wants us to do and take out a mortgage that we can't afford. Oh, and if he or she is anything like me and they went down the same path and they've been brainwashed and they've been confused and rigged by the system, they have student loan debt too. And now, because two become one, now you got two people who have student loan debt that has been merged. Then you have a mortgage. Then you have a child on top of it, or children on top of it. And what kind of cars are you driving? And we all know that when you were in college, You got tricked into signing up for your first credit card because they hand them out like it's candy. Listen, so I'll back this thing up. Is it such a bad thing if you're a college dropout? I'm not trying to tell you that it's okay, but I am here to tell you that it's not the end of the world. Now, I was always told that you had to go to school and go to college, graduate high school, of course, go to college, and then you'll be able to get a good job, and then you'll be able to be considered something. Because trust and believe they will make you feel that if you don't go to school, you don't go to college, that you are not going to be able to be the best that you can be. And that is so far from the truth. There are other avenues that one can take to get you to the promised land. Now, for me, I did not go to college. I'll just keep it real. I did not go to college. But I will tell you that the amount of money that I made coming fresh out of high school, unfortunately, I got caught up into the retail sector, and there's lots of money to be made there. I'm not trying to tell people that this is the avenue you should go down. But what I am telling you is that if you do decide to go down this avenue, if you do get a trade, if you do whatever you need to do, certifications, become an electrician, become a plumber, have your own business, do this, the next, the other, whatever you do, it's all about what you do with your money. It's not about how much money you make. Because I'm going to tell you how we all will experience the $1 million experience. We all are millionaires. I'm going to share with you how we all are millionaires, so stick around. Because we all are millionaires. Some of us don't even know it, but we're millionaires. Just thinking about that, that just does something to me. We are all millionaires, and some of us don't even know it. Wow. The school systems are rigged to make us believe that we all need to follow the yellow brick road. You know what that yellow brick road is? Go to school, get good grades, let your guidance counselors and everybody else in the school system trick you into going to college and thinking that you will not be anything unless you go to college. You sign up for it. I just explained what could happen. You want to be a doctor, you want to be this, you want to be that, got to be this. See, some people think that the only way you can get to where you need to get to is if you become a doctor, you become a lawyer, take out all this student loan debt. Then those same individuals, doctors and lawyers, even though they make a lot of money, just all they do is make a lot of money. They don't necessarily have a lot of money. They might make a lot of money, but that doesn't mean that they have a lot of money. See, in the beginning, I told you that this episode was going to be deep and people may not like it. The powers that be may not like it. And it's okay. It may not get high visibility as some of the other videos, but that's okay. That's what this whole debt-free living thing is about. Not everybody's going to like this. Not everybody can handle this. Not everybody wants to do this. Not everyone can weather the storm to get to say, you know what? I am living debt-free. I am debt-free. You have to be very careful about the words that you say after I am. Now, I became debt-free before I was even debt-free because it's all about the mindset. It's all about changing and shifting how you think about money, how you feel about money. We getting into it. It's going to be real deep tonight. I didn't even get past the song of the day yet, and I'm just going in because I'm so passionate about it, and I feel so fired up today and so just ready for this. Now, let me back this thing up a bit. We will all become millionaires. I spoke about that previously. We will all become millionaires. And you know how you'll all become a millionaire? We'll all become millionaires if you get up and you go go to work every day and you do the right thing and you're not lazy. I'm not talking about the people who can't keep a job. I'm talking about the people who are in between jobs all the time. I'm not speaking about those individuals. Those individuals will not become millionaires. So let's say that once you turn 18 or whatever, you're old enough to work. From when you are old enough to work a full-time job, 40 hours. If you do the right thing with your money from the first time that you're able to clock 40 hours a week consistently, year after year after year after year. I don't care whether you work at a fast food joint. I don't care if you are a lawyer. I don't care if you are a doctor. I don't care if you work in retail like I did coming fresh out of high school. I could care less. This goes for everybody. But more in particular, I am talking to those people who don't believe, the people who are flipping burgers, the people who are in hospitality, the people who are waiting on people, the people, yes, those people, the people who are washing the cars, the people who are fixing the cars. Yes, you will become a millionaire. If you get up every day and you go to work and you're a productive individual in society and you're doing the right thing and you're not trying to get over on anybody, you will become a millionaire. But the bigger question is, from the time you start working until the time you close your eyes, yes, you will become a millionaire. $1 million will pass through your system. Just know that. From your bank account out, $1 million will flow through. The big question is, what have you done with your $1 million? Now, I don't think people know that. If they sit back and they think, wow, so I was a millionaire. I've had $1 million in my possession. From the time that I started to the time that I retired, yes, $1 million have flowed through. But the bigger question is, what did you do with it? Some of us will become millionaires quicker than the other because maybe our job pays a lot more than the other. But the big question is, what did you do with it? Did you save it? Did you invest it? Did you make sure that you put your money to work so that you can benefit from it? Or did you just waste it away? Were you a show off? Did you go on high price vacations? Was it about the cars? Was it about the jewelry? Was it about the homes? See, we all will have $1 million pass through our system. The bigger question is, what did you do with it? Now, can you get mad at the next man because he stored up and he invested and he did the right thing with his money so that it can, pay him dividends over a period of time? He put his money to work. Can you get mad at an individual that did that? Can you think differently about an individual that did that? Took that path? Remember, I talked about the path in the beginning, easy in the beginning, harder towards the end, or hard in the beginning and then easy towards the end. I want you to think about that. Like Kanye said, like Kanye West says, when it all falls down, I'm telling you all, when it all falls down. And when it all falls down, who are you going to call now? Remember the two paths. The reason why I'm sitting here podcasting tonight is because I decided to take a certain path. In this record, Kanye West says, I can't even go to the grocery store without some ones that are clean in a shirt. Are you that type of person that no matter where you go, you always got to spend, you always got to have something new? You can't do this, you can't do that unless people can actually see that you got money? Now, are you trying to buy back your 40 acres? See, most people don't understand the importance of that allegory, the 40 acres. Most people don't understand that. And it's not for everybody to understand, and it's not for everybody to know. But I'm thankful that God has removed the scales from my eyes and has opened my ears up so that I can see and hear these things and apply them to my life. So this is what we're here to do tonight on Financial Friday. So Song of the day, All Falls Down by Kanye West. I'm not going to do too much. I'm not going to do no more. I'm going to back up. I went in a little bit about the school system and all of that. I get that. I get that. But, and the reason why I went in and the reason why I am so passionate about it is because I just recently caught on to all of this. See, I was part of the system. I was stuck in the matrix too. Matter of fact, I'm not going to say that I have fully unplugged from the matrix because unfortunately, after just recently discovering this a couple years ago, I still have work to do. So as I'm out here podcasting, as I'm speaking and going through the mentorship series with the students that come on, I'm learning just like each and every one of you out there. I'm still learning. The work is never done. There's always something to learn. There's always something to do. We never should get to a point where we feel like we've made it. If you get to a point where you feel like you've made it, especially in your financial journey, and you think that you can just sit back and everything's good and you don't have to work hard for it anymore and you don't have to do anything for it, that's a scary spot to be in. All right. So let's get into the assignment tonight. So we are going to Atlanta, Georgia. We are going to help out Mr. Tyrone. And again, if you want me to turn your situation into one of the assignments that me and the students can go through, please feel free to email me at info@laryngaines.com. That is info@laryngaines.com. And we can make that a reality. There are certain things that we can do to make your story become reality here on the 4-1 podcast, Reading Between the Wines. And again, this is not a substitute for any type of financial advice. I am a financial coach. I am not a financial advisor, and I am not a financial planner. So I'm just speaking from real life experiences. I'm letting you know what Laren would do. I am not here to tell you that this is what you should do. You have to do your own due diligence and you have to do your own research and you have to make it work for you. I am just telling you what I would do if I were in these shoes. Mr. Tyrone from Atlanta, Georgia says, Laren, I make 100. Excuse me, I'll back that up. I'm actually giving him a lot more money, but he's almost there. Mr. Tyrone says, I make $92,000 a year working in sales. But if you looked at my checking account, you'd think I was still hustling at the mall food court. And again, which I told you before, ain't nothing wrong with that. Because if you're hustling at the mall food court, trust and believe you still will become a millionaire if you stick to it, especially if you start when you're young, like in your 20s. All right. I promise I won't do it again. I'm going to back up and do it the right way. Tyrone says, I make $92,000 a year working in sales. But if you looked at my checking account, you'd think I was hustling at the mall food court. I'm talking $3.12 in checking the day before my payday. Now, the reason why I'm here podcasting and so thankful, and I was sharing this story with my daughter a couple weeks ago. There were times when I only had $1 in my bank account in between paychecks. I even got a little caught up on that. I couldn't even get the words out of my mouth because I never want to go back to that. I will repeat. Absolutely. Now, you want to talk about faking the funk? You want to talk about appearances and making things appear one way, but on the other side, something else is going on? Listen, Tyrone, I can totally understand where you're coming from because you talked about having $3.12 in your checking account from right before payday. Like you drew that thing all the way down to $3.12 right before payday. Ladies and gentlemen, mine was $1 in between paychecks. And oh, by the way, with a car that could break down today or tomorrow and completely destroy my world. But through the grace of God, that's the only thing that I could say, through the grace of God. You want to talk about reminisce and take it back? Through the grace of God. Okay, I'm going to stop playing. I told you I'm going to stop playing. I'm going to do this right. I'm going to take it to the top again. Just very passionate about this. I'm going to take a deep breath and take it to the top. And I want y'all to pray for me as I get through this episode tonight. Laren, I make 92 a year working in sales. But if you looked at my checking account, you think I was still hustling at the mall food court. I'm talking $3.12 in my checking account the day before payday. My girl keeps saying I'm bad with money, but I think I just enjoy life. Here's the truth. I like looking like I've made it. I've got the luxury SUV, the designer sneakers, bottle service on the weekends, and a $1,500 apartment just for the floor to ceiling window vibe. Wow, so you got your apartment just for the floor to ceiling windows vibe. I'll drop $300 on dinner for the gram, but then borrow $100 from my brother to cover my cell phone bill. Last month, my credit card bill came to $8,417, but it was mostly clothes, Uber rides, and emergency nights out. My minimum payment alone feels like rent. My credit score went from 720 to 648 in a year, and now my bank declined me for a small business loan I was counting on to start my side hustle. I know I'm flexing for strangers on the internet, but when I try to scale back, I feel like I'm losing my identity. My social circle is about looking the part, and I don't want to be the dude showing up and pay less while everyone else is in Dior. So tell me, how do I break free from the cycle without feeling like I'm giving up my lifestyle I've worked hard to build? And is it possible to keep my image without growing broke? Wow, there's a lot going on in this letter. And part of it triggered a little things and brought some memories back, some that I like, some that I don't like. Share with you about the dollar from paycheck to paycheck. He talked about $3.12 from paycheck to paycheck, still no good. So I'm gonna take it to the top again, and then we're gonna get into the scenario here. In the meantime, if you're out there, we're getting ready to get in deep. So this might be the time where you want to go ahead and share this video with somebody who you feel could benefit from this. Laren, I make $92,000 a year working in sales, but if you looked at my checking account, you think I'm still hustling at the mall food court. I'm talking $3.12 in checking the day before payday. My girl keeps saying I'm bad with money, but I think I just enjoy life. Here's the truth. I'm looking like I've made it. I've got the luxury SUV, the designer sneakers, bottle service on weekends, and $1,500 apartment just for the floor to ceiling windows vibe. I'll drop $300 on dinner for the gram, but then borrow $100 from my brother to cover my cell phone bill. Last month, my credit card bill came up to $8,417, mostly on clothes, Uber rides, and emergency nights out. My minimum payment alone feels like rent. My credit score went from 720 to 648 a year, and now my bank declined me for a small business loan I was counting on for starting my side hustle. I know I'm flexing for strangers on the internet, but when I try to scale back, I feel like I'm losing my identity. My social circle is all about looking the part, and I don't want to be that dude showing up in Payless while everyone else is showing up in Dior. So tell me, how do I break free from this cycle without feeling like I'm giving up the lifestyle I've worked hard for? And is it even possible to build and keep my image without growing broke? Well, there's so much into this. I'm going to just basically say this here. If I was Mr. Tyrone, I would think very hard, long and hard about what I'm going to do to fix this, because we all have to pay back debt, dues, whatever you want to call it. We all have to pay back. And most of the time when we have to pay up, we never saw it coming. I'll say that again. When most of us have to pay back, because we all got to pay back. You can borrow out, you can take student loan debts out, you can do whatever you want to do. You can rack up all types of credit cards, you can have repossessions, you can have foreclosures, You can live life, you can do whatever you want. See, he said he likes to enjoy life. His girl says that he's bad with money, but I just think that I like to enjoy life. Listen, you all can do it. Anybody could do it. But trust and believe that you're going to have to pay because nothing in life is free. Nothing in life is free. Oh, you're going to pay. You're going to pay one way or the other. You're going to pay spiritually. Your spiritual life will suffer because the enemy loves debt. Oh, trust and believe that the enemy loves debt. You sign right up for his plan the minute that you swipe that credit card, knowing full well that you don't have enough money to pay it back. Oh, you sign up for his plan when you drive down there and trade in that car and get that car that you can't afford. Oh, he loves to keep you up late at night when you can't sleep, tossing and turning because you have high car payments and high car insurance right along with it. So sometimes the car is more than the house or the apartment that you got. I heard one of the prosperity preachers on, they come on TV. Now it's on YouTube and the internet and everything else. But one of these prosperity preachers, and I don't fool with them, but this one did make a point. He had an issue with one of his friends because his friends went and got this nice fly car, and he came up and showed the prosperity preacher, "Look at my new car." Oh, what? And then the friend said, "What, you don't like it?" And he said, "No, I don't like it. And the reason why I don't like it is because you got more car than you got house. That thing needs to be the other way around. Nobody should have more car than they have house." And that's exactly what Tyrone got going on here, amongst a whole bunch of other things. Now, he makes $92,000 a year working in sales, but his checking account doesn't say it. Now he compares himself to think that he's still hustling at the mall food court, flipping burgers, whatever you want to call it. But with his $92,000 that he makes a year, somebody who makes 40,000, let's take it back, even $30,000 a year probably sleeps better than he does. Now you do the math. You want to make $92,000 a year and be no good with the money and don't know where to put it and don't know how to handle it the right way to where you can't sleep at night and you got all of this nonsense going on? Or would you rather be somebody who has just a regular life, normal life, does the right thing with their money and can sleep just like a baby? Come on now. This is just disturbing to me. Now you have somebody telling you that you're bad with money. Now, typically, your mate is like a mirror. So I don't know what her money situation has going on, but at least she's telling you that what you got going on ain't right. And instead of saying, you know what, taking some responsibility, see, the first step of taking responsibility for your life is getting up and looking in the mirror and saying, okay, what role did I play and what do I need to do? That's the first step of getting up and removing yourself and detaching from the things that keep us down. That's the first step of taking responsibility for your life. And you are not doing that here. Your response is, I just think that I enjoy life. So the thing that I have to say is keep on enjoying life then. Because trust and believe that, oh, these bills going to have to be due. Due date is coming. Now, when due date is going to be, when it's going to hit, I have no idea. But most of the time, people are not prepared for the due date. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you. Welcome to Financial Fridays. Most of the time when that due date comes, people are not aware of it. And it kind of like hits them upside the head, sideswipes them, and they have no idea. Just like this song, When It All Falls Down, song of the day, Kanye West featuring Syleena Johnson. Who you going to call? Who are you going to call? Because you did this. Nobody did this but you. See, when we're in debt and we have issues like that, nobody did it but us. Now you can blame it on an ex, you can blame it on this, you can blame it on alcohol, you can blame it on all of those types of things. But guess what? Ain't nobody did it but you. See, you can't allow anybody to come in and infiltrate and tear up something unless you allow them to come in. Because the enemy is only coming to kill, steal, and destroy. He can't come in if you don't let him. He may attempt to, he may try, but he can't come in unless you let him. Now, here's the truth. I like looking like I've made it. And see, I'm not here to point any fingers or act like anything because I don't know who I'm speaking to. I'm only speaking from experience. But that line right there, I like looking like I've made it. I used to have over 100 pairs of shoes. Couldn't wear them all within a year. Didn't wear them all within a year. Just collecting stuff. Just because if I had some nice shoes and this and that and a nice outfit and all this other stuff, then I thought that, I was doing something. I thought that that meant something. He has a luxury SUV. Now, you got a luxury SUV, but you get Uber rides and stuff for emergency nights out. So now you got a nice car, right? And you want everybody to see what you got. You want everybody to know what you're doing. You want everybody to know how you're making moves. But yet, your adult life is not on point because you got to be getting Uber rides and calling emergency services because now we can't conduct ourselves like I want to say like a grown adult. That this is like party night. We got to get, from what I can see from this drunk up, we got to get, you know, nah, this whole situation here is something else. Again, I don't know who I'm speaking to. I'm only speaking from experiences, but when you want to look like you've made it, the designer sneakers, bottle service on the weekends, getting apartments, getting mortgages that we can't afford just so that people can say that we're doing something. He says he drops $300 on dinner for the gram. That one here, I don't understand that. $300 on dinner just so you can post it on Instagram. And then you'll borrow $100 from your brother to cover your cell phone bill after you just spent $300 on food. Now, I'm going to back this thing up about food because I'm very passionate about the food aspect because it can come and catch us all by surprise. And it has caught me by surprise as well. I have a task for everybody after I go on my tangent about food. I have a little task, a little assignment, some homework for us to do in between episodes here. Between your car, your home, and your food, those are going to be the top 3 things that you spend most of your money on. It should go in the order home, car, food. But if it's not in that order, not saying that I'm not here to judge, not say anything. I'm not here to say that it's right or wrong, but I'm saying you probably should start to evaluate some things and look at what you could do different if it's not in that order. Now, okay, the car could be in less. If you have a used car, if you have it well maintained, it runs like a well-oiled machine. All you're doing is maintenance with gas and this, that, the next, the other. It's not costing you. Not talking about a car that's costing you. Okay, so then it would be home, then your food bill, and then the car. Someone who has it that way can afford to probably eat a little bit better than the next. It's just reality. We all got to eat. This is life. But when that food bill starts to creep up and $300 just for one meal, wow. I can't imagine. $300 on one meal. Now I want to hope that that's for two people. Not saying that that's a bad thing, but are we really eating like that every night? Mm. And then not have enough money and then borrow $100 from his brother to cover his cell phone bill. So if your food bill is through the roof, I would strongly recommend you sitting down, looking at last month's bills, looking at how much money you spent on groceries and how much money you spent at the restaurants. Add all of it up. Take a look at it. You may be shocked. Even if your food bill is not through the roof, even if you think, oh, I got this under control, it's pretty good. I feel good about it. Still take the challenge. Take all of the money that you spent on food, dissect it, look at the places that you spent money on. You might see a pattern, you might see repeats, you might find yourself going back to the same areas over and over and over again. You might find that you're eating out more than you're eating in. Are you doing it out of convenience? Or are you spending the extra money because it's a necessity? Or are you spending money because you're just bored and you wanted something to eat? What's the story behind the money that you're spending on the food? Because if you do this exercise and take some time to dissect last month's bills and then take a look at this month's bills, you'll be able to see that it tells a story. We're going to move on. Thank you so much for joining. Please share this with a friend, someone who may be able to get something from this. Welcome to Financial Fridays. Last month, my credit card bill came to $8,417, mostly on clothes. Again, we already talked about that. Mr. Tyrone here cares about what somebody else thinks of him, how he has to show up in the world. Uber rides and emergency nights out. Now, you already said that you spend money on your luxury car. Now, I'll get into it again. Uber rides and emergency nights out. What are we doing? If I was Tyrone, I would have to ask myself, what are we doing? That we have to spend Uber rides and get Ubered home. Like, what type of situation is going on here? Like, what's happening here? He says, my minimum payment alone feels like rent. Okay, so now your minimum payment is probably close to $1,500 because that's how much it is for rent. Maybe it's not $1,500. Maybe it's $1,000. I would probably guess that maybe the minimum payment is anywhere between $800 and $900. That could feel like rent because your rent is only $1,500. So, and here's the key word in that sentence right there: minimum payment. I'm going to help you all out as well. If you want to get closer to debt-free living, you want to make sure that you do away with minimum payments. See, just paying the minimum on your credit card bill is not going to cut it because the amount of money that you pay in interest is probably through the roof. I was just having this conversation with somebody last week who said, Laren, I'm thinking about getting a credit card. I said, okay, that's great that you're thinking about getting a credit card, but you have to also learn how to use it. And if people don't know how to use credit, other people's money, then don't do it. Because remember, nothing in life is free. So unless you know how to use credit and you have been taught how to use credit and educated on a proper way to use a credit card, don't do it. See, most people think that that money is theirs and it's not. And oh, by the way, like I said, nothing in life is free. So there will be a due date and there will be times where you're going to have to pay up and pay back. Now, when you just take somebody else's money and think you can do what you want to do with it, And I'm just going to give you the minimum and I'm going to pay you back whenever. Oh, trust and believe you're going to pay. Like I said, you're going to pay one way, spiritually, mentally. Now, let's talk about the mental aspect. I touched base on a spiritual aspect, but let's talk about the mental aspect when people can't even sleep at night, tossing and turning, or you can't think straight and function properly at work because you know what you got to face when you clock out and get to go home. The physical aspect, that stress can do a number on a physical. Like, what age do you look? Do you look your age? Or have you aged because you got so much stress and anxiety, stomach ulcers, this, that, the next, the other, because you're just overwhelmed with debt? I thank God that I don't look like what I've been through. And then, of course, the financial aspect. This is a prime example of it. When in between paychecks, you only got $3.12. That's affecting you financially from the decisions that you made of wanting to use somebody else's money recklessly. He says that his credit score went from 720 to 648 in a year. And now my bank has declined me for a small business loan I was counting on starting a side hustle. At this point, if I was Marcus, I wouldn't even be worried about my credit score. I remember, what was it, 2022? I was like, I could care less about the credit score. I knew that I was in a financial situation that was no good and I needed to clean it up. And I called the credit card company. I said, guess what? I don't want this credit card anymore. You can cancel it. You can do whatever you want to do with it. I could care less because I wasn't focused on my credit score at the time. I just was going to be done with it. And I'm going to give you your money, but you ain't doing me no favors by keeping it open because I wasn't mentally equipped to even know how to handle a credit card at that moment the right way. I thought I did in the past, but everything that I did prior to 2020 was a joke. It was. It was a complete joke. I thought I was doing something. And once I learned the proper way of, handling money and finances, I was like, oh, wow, I thought I was doing something. I wasn't doing nothing. I told them they can come. They wasn't going to come take the car, but guess what? I don't want it. That's what I basically told them. And it worked out in my favor because they said because I was so loyal for so many years, I don't know, 10 years. They said that they weren't going to close the credit card out, that they would actually give me a plan that I can negotiate with them to make lower payments with little to no interest. See, this is what I'm saying, that there are ways that you can get around some of the debt that you have accumulated if you just start to think properly. There are ways that, you can get around some things. However, that student loan debt, mm-mm, that's the only one where they're like, nah, you're going to pay up. You're going to pay like you weigh. And then when it comes to the student loan debt, I also heard that you might think that you have got away with not paying them. Some people have done some weird stuff. Like I remember I worked with somebody that said, I haven't had a tax return in years. And I said, well, why not? And they said, because they're going to take my income tax money because I owe student loan debt. So I just decided not to even file taxes. Well, that's a whole nother situation right there. You talking about penalty and jail time and all types of other stuff over student loans. Anyway, I know I'm all over the place today, but we're going to reel this thing in. But if I was Tyrone, I wouldn't worry about the credit score. At least I didn't at that moment. Now, after I learned, I focused on the mental aspect about how I felt about money, got my mental together. I thought, oh, okay, so this is what money is about. This is how you handle money. This is the right thing because I frowned upon credit cards. I didn't want to borrow anybody else's money. I thought it was this. I thought it was that because I was in debt and I was unhappy with my situation. So I reprogrammed my mental And then I said, oh, so there is the other side. See, I was just living in the negative side, caught up in a matrix, doing what everybody else is doing in society. But there's another way to do this thing where I could use other people's money to benefit me properly instead of in a negative way, to benefit me in a positive way. Okay. Credit score was fixed. Higher than what it was even prior to 2020. It's interesting. Once you change that mental about how you think and feel about money, things can change. It's either going to be a negative, totally negative, or it'll be totally positive. And by the way, there is no in between. You can't be on both sides of the fence. You either got to pick one or the other. I'll say that again. There is no in between. You can't spend a little bit of time on this fence and spend a little bit of time over on that side of the fence, hopping back and forth. You can't serve two masters. You're either going to do the right thing with the money or you're not. And then now focusing on a small business loan, they declined you. That's probably the best thing that they could have done for you to help save your financial situation, is declining you for a small business loan. Because see, you can't even handle what you have going on now. And then now you want to take out a small business loan on top of this. When you have all of this other stuff going on, them declining you probably was the best thing that they could have done for you. And I'm hoping that this served as a wake-up call, because that probably, you want to start a side hustle. I don't know if you're passionate about being an entrepreneur, if this is the, your business side, if you felt that you wanted to go in and own your own business versus working for somebody else, you being declined from it, some people take that personal. And that might be a moment to make you more determined to say, okay, I'm going to find out why they decline me. What is it that I need to do to fix this so that I can come out on the other side? So them declining you probably was the best thing that they could have done. The worst thing that could have happened to you is you getting into more debt. The goal is to get out. The goal is to not owe people, because when you owe people, you become a slave. You become a slave to the lender. This is why, if you have a whole bunch of debt, whether it's, your car, whether it's your mortgage, whether it's credit card bills, whether it's student loans, whether it's personal loans, whether it's payday loans, whatever it is, you become a slave to the lender. You got to do what they tell you to do. You can't make up the rules, because when that bill is due, that's exactly what that means. And if you want to try to buck the system or buck back, do me a favor and don't pay them for 3 to 6 months and see what happens. Your life will never be the same. I don't care what debt you got. Do me a favor and don't pay them 3 to 6 months and see what happens. Tyrone says he's flexing for strangers on the internet, but when he tries to scale back, he feels like he's losing his identity. Well, Mr. Tyrone, you have already lost your identity because you are wrapped up with all of these other things. I know it sounds harsh. I know it. I spoke about this the other day. Sometimes when I deliver it, it is what it is. But you've lost your identity already. It's not anything about you feel like you're losing your identity. It's lost already, because I truly believe that you don't even know who you are. Because if you knew who you were, you wouldn't have all of these things going on. And your social circle is all about looking the part. And you don't want to be the dude showing up in Payless while everyone is showing up in Dior. So your social circle is all about looking the part. And I can tell you right now that your social circle isn't anything good, isn't anything that I would feel so concerned about losing. So if somebody wants to say something, belittle you, make you feel a certain way because you aren't dressed up like everybody else, or you're not, keeping up with the Joneses like everybody else. If you decided to exit out of that social circle, or that social circle changed, decreased, that might be another best thing for your life. That might be another scenario that could help save your life. But going down the path you were going and feeling like you need to validate, looking for validation in other people outside of yourself, caring about what somebody else thinks about you, what you have on, what you have, checking your tags, you've already lost your identity. You don't even know who you are. And your question is, so tell me, how do I break free from the cycle without feeling like I'm giving up the lifestyle I've worked hard to build? Well, and is it even possible to keep my image without growing broke? Well, if this is the lifestyle you built, if I was in these shoes, I wouldn't even want it. That's what you want? Now, me speaking here today, if you had asked me this question 10 years from now, I was right in this scenario, just like Tyrone. Cars, jewelry, clothes, this, that, the next, the other, cared about with somebody else. So right now that Tyrone feels this way, I totally get it. I understand. I've been there before. He just doesn't see, he hasn't hit rock bottom yet. However, by the sound of this letter here, it seems like his rock bottom is coming real soon. $3.12 in between paychecks. That rock bottom is coming real soon. Any type of emergency, any type of disaster, he's going to be set back. However, a setback, what do they say? A setback is only setting you up for something better. See, sometimes we have to go through setbacks. Sometimes we have to fall flat on our face. Sometimes we got to stumble, just like this record here when it all falls down. Sometimes we all have to fall down and burn that thing all the way down to the ground till it can't get any lower. Because, see, that's when my life changed, when I burned that thing all the way to the ground till I couldn't get any lower. Now, I was already on the ground, I can't get any lower. So now the only thing that I can do is just climb up out of whatever mess I put myself in. I don't know who I'm speaking to. I'm only speaking from experience. But listen, sometimes we have to hit rock bottom in order for us to be able to make that thing and turn that thing around. And you can hear people like me, financial coaches, and you can read all types of books, and you can listen to podcasts, and you can listen to your friends. You can listen to your parents who've been here longer than you, but you think that you know more than them. You can do whatever and still not listen to it, still not get it until you hit rock bottom. And then that light will click off and be like, got it. I get it now. So breaking free from the cycle without feeling like you're giving up your lifestyle, Mr. Tyrone, I feel that you haven't hit rock bottom. That the fact that you even asked this question. So you will want to break free from the cycle. You will want to change your lifestyle. You will become a whole totally different person, because you'll be like, I don't know what this is. I don't like it. I can't get out. I feel like I'm constrained. I feel like my hands are tied. This is the worst feeling ever. I don't even want to look at another credit card. I don't even want to look at another car payment. I don't even want this. I don't want that. If you don't feel like that now, not that I'm saying to keep on doing what you're doing, because that's not the right message that I want to put out there. Obviously, I would love to say, you know, of the things that I personally feel, if I was in your shoes, what I would do, but I can't tell you to do that. You have to want it more than I do. So You will know when it's time because you will want to break free. It's not that I want you to break free. It's not that she wants you to break free. Your mom wants you to break free. Grandparents, whoever, you will want to break free. You will be like, I have had enough of this right here. I'm sick of this. People who feel like that, then we can start to talk about what does it feel like to experience debt-free living. You have to get to that point where you're like, I'm good and sick and tired of my situation that I created. I did this. Stop pointing fingers. He didn't do it. He couldn't do it unless you open up the door and allow him to. She didn't do it. You let him in. You gave him the keys to the car. You gave him the keys to the apartment. You said, sure, yeah, you can go ahead and swipe up this card on my behalf. Yeah, yep. You did that. Nobody else did that. When you take full responsibility and say, okay, listen, I get it. This is the role that I played. This is exactly, I got what I deserve because I did it. I chose the wrong path. You can either go left or you can go right. We all have a free choice. You can do what you want to do, but trust and believe that there's some consequences at the end. There's this thing that's called karma. There's cause and effect. Oh, yeah. We all gonna have to pay one way, whether it's spiritually, mentally, physically, financially, emotionally. Oh, yeah, we gonna pay. Ain't nothing in life free. Now, here's the thing that I like here. And is it even possible to keep my image without going broke? And I'm here to say, yes, you can. You can keep your image. Now, will you be rocking Dior? Maybe, maybe not. You're going to have to get a little clever. You're going to have to figure out what is more important to me. Is it important for you to eat well and to take care of your body and take care of your health and make sure you have nourishing food and spend the correct, proper balance when it comes to your finances on food? Or are you concerned with what you're going to eat? What you're going to wear? Or are you overly concerned with the car that you're going to drive versus what you're going to wear? So you're going to have to look at your life and you're going to have to evaluate all your assets versus your liabilities and figure out what's more important. See, you have to be happy in life and you have to have everything that you need that makes you you. So I say build out your lifestyle. Build the perfect life that works for you. Find out how much it costs for you to live the life that you want to live because listen, we all write our own stories in life and we all have the given right to live and be who we want to be. Who am I or who are anybody else to tell you you can't drive this, you can't wear this, you can't eat that, you can't go here, you can't do that? We should never put ourselves in a situation where somebody tells us what we can and cannot do. However, the life that you pick and what you decide and what you're going to do, there's going to be a cost to it because nothing in life is free. So the question is, how much are you willing to pay? Because you're going to pay one way or the other, spiritually, mentally, physically, financially, and emotionally. And you have to be smart about it. Now, see, I'm a minimalist today because of the things that I focus on, all of that materialism and all of that worrying about what somebody else thinks of me and this and that, the next, the other. I'm over it. I could care less about it. See, that type of mindset that I used to be in prior to 2020 is what got me into the debt that I was in the first place. So I got good and sick and tired of myself during a pandemic in 2020 when I was locked down and couldn't do anything except think, pray, get with myself, figure out who I was. And then a light bulb went off. And I said, so really, this is what life is about. And now that I have time to think about it, now that I'm starting to discover and understand and know who I am, I don't even like this scenario that I created. I don't even want this. Now I want to figure out how the hell do I get away from this? Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you. How do I get away from this and get the hell out of this and get back to the person who I remembered I was? So yeah, you can do it. You can keep up with the image that you want, but how much is it going to cost you? And just like James Brown, you got to pay the cost to be the boss. So if you want to live like that, you're going to have to pay. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. You're going to have to pay for it. You're going to have to work for it, and you can do it. You can have all of the nice things. You can have the Gucci, the Dior. You can have, yes, you can, everybody can have that. But you have to do the right thing with your money to set yourself up for that. And all of that nice stuff and the things that you want, you may not get it right now. Like I said, work hard in the beginning, enjoy life later. Or be like everybody else, be like, you know, be right on the path you are right now where you're enjoying life now, but towards the end it'll be much harder. Wow. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on. And I say here, spiritual realm, because Mr. Tyrone, I feel, needs to have some spiritual healing to know who you are. Because if you know who you are, you will care less what other people think about you. If you're a person out there that's like, I could care less what they think about me, I could care less what they say about me, just do me a favor, don't put your hands on me. Now I'm taking it there. You can say what you want to say. You can do whatever you want to do, but don't put your hands on me. That's a whole different story. Nah, I took it there, but I'm just saying that's when you know that you are almost there. Because again, don't get to the point where you think that you've made it, because that's a whole nother situation. But when you could care, like whatever, I could care less. Like I'm gonna wear these good Jordans. I'm gonna wear these, whatever. Like it don't have to be Dior. It don't have to be like whatever. Like, do they look good? Do I do I know I look good? Because I can make anything work. When you get to that point where you're not overly concerned with what somebody else thinks about you and you make your moves and you're the one who's on point with it and you call the shots, you might be doing something. Now, the mental aspect, how you feel about money here cannot be good with these results. I don't know what you were taught as a child, but you have been programmed to think about money and to treat money very poorly. See, when we think about money, we have to think about being in a relationship because it is a relationship. You have to have a great relationship with your money. And you just let your money go out and stay out till 2 o'clock in the morning and do whatever it wants to do. You just got your money out all over the place. There's a word for this, 3-letter word for it. You letting your money just go out there and just, yeah, y'all understand where I'm coming from. You don't even know where your money at. It's just all over the place. It's able to just do what it needs to do all over the place with anybody. You handing it out free. And then from the physical aspect, how do we show up in this world? How do we show up in a world and how do we spend our money? Are we showing up as good, productive human beings and valuing our money and spending it properly and being a good representation that this is how you should conduct yourself? This is how you conduct yourself financially. This is how it should be done. This is how a man handles their money. This is how a female handles their money. This is how a woman comes in and she's doing her thing. He's doing his thing. That's grown man business. Knowing where your money is, knowing how much you have, not robbing Peter to pay Paul, not asking somebody to bail you out because you decided to go out drinking the night before and spend $300 on food bills and one dinner. And hopefully it was for two. And just so you can post it on the gram. So the physical aspect, how do we conduct ourselves in this physical realm? Or are we taking our money at the club and making it rain? And then the financial aspect, there's nothing in here. Nothing in this letter that says I am managing my money properly to where I'm building wealth. I'm concerned about building wealth. I'm focused. I'm laser focused on building wealth. I'm thinking about the future. I'm thinking about, the next step. I don't see it in here. All I see is materialism, focusing on what somebody else thinks, seeking validation outside of self, looking for others to validate, attachments, friends, making decisions based off of friends. And I spoke the other night that you will become an average of the 5 closest people that you surround yourself with. I repeat, you will be only an average of the 5 closest people that you surround yourself with. So, knowing that information and looking at this here, it sounds like there's some work to do with cleaning up that social circle of yours because they're just concerned about how you look, what you're coming with, how much you can spend. Mm. Wow. I know it was a lot that we dissected in this here. This one here. Oof. This joint right here. That one there. Wow. If you want to chime in on tonight's assignment and let me know how you feel about it, listen, I never claimed to be a genius. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I know everything. Maybe there's something in this assignment here that you see that I didn't see. You can text me at 609 200 1098. That is the official 411 podcast Reading Between the Wines hotline. Let me know how you feel about tonight's assignment, as well as you can DM me on any of my social media platforms. I am on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, TikTok, D Live, Twitch, Daily Motion. Let me know how you feel about tonight's assignment. And now we're going to go ahead and get into the burning questions. And again, if you want to chime in on tonight's burning question, please feel free to text me at 609 200 1098. Again, that is the official 411 podcast Reading Between the Wines hotline. And burning questions, I want you to take your journals out, pour your glass of wine, think about your life, think about your scenarios, think about your own assignments, and how can you apply tonight's burning question into your world and make it work for you. Burning questions. What boundaries do you set with friends who normalize overspending? I'll repeat that again. What boundaries do you set with friends who normalize overspending? So I'm going to say this is a challenging one because I know that so many people make so many mistakes based off of hanging around or wanting to be around friends, wanting to feel connected, wanting to feel loved, wanting to feel part of something, someone, a group, like Tyrone's social circle, wanting to fit in. I get it. I've been there before. Sometimes it's coworkers, sometimes it's family members who normalize overspending. What boundaries do you set with them? Now, if you can, like, if you're the type of person who could care less what somebody else thinks about you, like, I don't care what they think, they don't have nothing to do with me. That's everything they feel about themselves. If you're that type of person, cool. You're like halfway there. But for people who, oh my goodness, like, what are they going to think about me? What are they going to say if I don't do this or if I don't do that? If you are a people pleaser, you are going to struggle when it comes to this. I used to do some stupid things, and I can say stupid things now because I've overcome. But I used to spend money that I didn't have just to hang around certain people and make them feel like I had it just like Tyrone. And then come home and be like, now what the hell am I gonna do now? I done spent my money for the week, just trying to be around somebody else and think I got it like that. How many people do that? Come Friday night, they go out to the happy hour after work, because of the coworkers go out. And then you end up spending all types of money on alcohol, knowing full well that you didn't have it before you even stepped into the happy hour. You shouldn't even went into the happy hour anyway. But you did it because of peer pressure. And you did it because I just want to feel like something. If I say no, they're going to think something about me. If I say no, they're going to say something about me. But you have got to get to the point where that doesn't bother you because of the end goal is much more important than this temporary pleasure right here. This fleshly thing that we got going on right here, this temporary stuff that once it's said and done and we done messed up, now we feel a certain way. Now we got to wait to payday again in order to level up again. But all you're doing is spending the paycheck that you never even got yet. Every time you rack up that credit card, every time you do something that you know full well that you shouldn't be doing because that intuition tells you that that is the wrong thing to do, but you think that you got it like that. You think that you know the answer. You think you already know the end game. You did not consult with your higher power. You did not ask. You were not being a good money manager. All you're doing is digging yourself a deeper hole and spending the paycheck that you didn't even get yet. I'll share a story and then I'm going to get on up out of here. But I had taken a trip earlier this year. I had taken a trip earlier this year and I was surrounded around individuals who love to eat out. Just love to eat out, like ridiculous. And okay, it's okay to eat out every now and then. For me personally, I strive to do much more preparing meals at home so that I don't have to overspend out. But when time comes for it and I want to enjoy a nice meal, I don't want to have to be worried about anything. I want to be able to do it in peace and do it in joy, knowing that, listen, I don't do this all the time. So now that I'm here, I'm going to enjoy myself. And it's going to be a great moment because I don't do this recklessly. Like, we're not here every day doing this. But I surrounded myself with individuals that they did that every day. And then halfway through the trip, I was like, no, this ain't it. Because I got food back at my place. This ain't it. Like, I'm not here to do this every day. So you might be going to lunch tomorrow, but guess what? I'm not going to lunch tomorrow. Now, here's the problem. The boundaries were overstepped. Because if somebody says that they don't want to do something or they don't want to participate, and the other party, the other side just don't get it and they want to continue to keep overstepping boundaries, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time, we're not going to keep doing this. Oh, yeah. So now we just learn how to just say, absolutely not. I'm not going. Can't do it. And oh, by the way, since you don't know how to respect boundaries, then maybe you and I don't even need to hang out anymore. People normalize it. They don't understand what's happening because they're living the easy life now, but trust and believe that the latter days will be harder. Now, if you continuously hang around these people who normalize overspending, what do you think is going to happen to you? Remember, you're an average of the 5 closest people that you surround yourself with. So we all have a choice in life. We can either go left or go right. So the only thing that I have to say is that the choice is yours. Boundaries are set, walls are put up. guardrails are put up, everything's put up. Like, and with me, what I've learned is that I'm very nice when it comes to explaining. I've even offered to help. Again, I've offered to help people like, listen, you know that you could save money if you decide to, prepare some of these meals at home. You might even get bigger portions. You could potentially, okay, bigger portions, what do that mean? That you can eat more. Not that we want to be, a glutton or anything like that, but heck, like I want to get the bang for my buck. So, like, do we make this meal at home and have more? It may not taste like, the restaurant, but we can work towards perfecting it and making it, something. I tried to help people, but again, I've realized that if they don't want my help, then guess what? This conversation is over. It's over. So you go back to normalizing that overspending, and I'm gonna go back to normalizing, you know, financial wellness. And that's just it. Set the boundaries. When people disrespect and want to overstep, then guess what? You're no longer welcome in this circle. You're no longer welcome in this realm. And the fact that individuals may not speak to me today because we don't align properly, that's a great thing. It's not a good thing. It's a great thing because now I don't have to worry about what you think, this, that, the next, the other. First of all, I could care less to begin with, but just the thought of you not agreeing and not aligning, now that's no longer a concern. You stay over there in your corner, I stay over here in mine. I'm trying to level up. So that means me going to the next level, I have to experience and be around a different group of people. I have to be around like minded individuals that are on the same page as me or want to be on the same page and want to learn and want to do better. Because when you know better, you do better. And if you know that the people you're around are no good for you, the fact that if you stay in those situations and keep yourself in those scenarios, you're only stunting your own growth. And there's no one to blame but self because everything starts with self. I don't know who I'm speaking to. I'm only speaking from experience, but everything starts with self. I had to stop pointing fingers, set boundaries, and let people know absolutely not. Yo, Laren, you coming out to lunch? You gonna do this? You gonna do that? Nah, not today. I'm good. I've even had people say, oh, well, you gotta treat yourself. Oh, I treat myself very good. And you know what? I treat myself so well that I know better and I'm not gonna fall for that trap because when I really treat myself and I really do want to spend a little bit more than what I do on an average, there's no worry. I don't toss and turn in the middle of the night. I'm not thinking and contemplating like, oh my goodness, what did I do? How do I go from here? How do I go there? And I'm thankful for that because guess what? It ain't my money. And I'm going to get out of here after this. So get out of here. This was a true financial Friday, but it ain't my money. And you'll realize that your life will be much better when you understand that it ain't your money either. It's God's money. And I'm going to leave it on that note and we could pick that up later. But it's not your money, it's God's money. And when you start to ask him, what do you want me to do with this money here? You put me in charge here. You put me here to be the manager of this. What you want me to do? Instead of the younger version of myself that thought it was my money and I used to just do some stupid things. 609-200-1098. That's the official 411 podcast reading between the wines hotline. Let me know what you feel about tonight's episode. Let me know what you feel about tonight's assignment, tonight's burning questions. I want to say thank you so much for all of you out there who have been hanging in there with me, listening. Please do me a favor. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, tag a friend, share this replay with them. Replay is available on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audacity, Pocket Cast, Deezer, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, or YouTube in general. You can head on over to LarenGaines.com. If there's something that you heard tonight, something that sparked an interest, you were interested in learning more about what it's like to live a debt-free life, debt-free living. All of that information is available at Laren Gaines. You can also sign up for my free monthly newsletter, Whispers of Wisdom. Awesome, inspirational, debt-free living content delivered to your inbox once a month. Head on over to LarenGaines.com, sign up for Whispers of Wisdom. Also, if you'd like to have one-on-one coaching with me, you can sign up for a free 15-minute consultation. You can apply to see if you qualify for the coaching sessions. Individual coaching, debt-free living from the spiritual realm, mental realm, physical realm, and financial. All on LarenGaines.com. Sign up for that free 15-minute consultation. Apply to see if you qualify. No one's financial journey is the same. Your financial journey is different from mine. So we will sit down, have a one-on-one consultation, and set up your personalized coaching experience. Head on over to LarenGaines.com. On that note, I want to say thank you so much. We are going to get up out of here. Please pay close attention to all of my social media platforms. I am on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, TikTok, DLive, Twitch, Daily Motion. Awesome content dropping daily. You never know what you're going to get, so check out the different platforms. Get a feel for it. Check out the vibe. Let me know what works best for you. And on that note, I want to say thank you so much. Very special shout out to everyone out there on Daily Motion. Thank you so much to people out there on Twitch, YouTube, X, everybody all over my social media platforms. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And on that note, it is a wrap. So I will see you when I see you. Have a good night. Thank you so much.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's a wrap on today's episode of the 411 podcast and Reading Between the Wines, where growth is always on the menu, and every pour reveals a little more truth. The conversation doesn't end here. Have something to say? Want to weigh in on tonight's burning questions? Text us anytime at the official 411 podcast and Reading Between the Wines hotline at 609-200-1098. Stay plugged in across all social media platforms at Laren Gaines. We're live and in the conversation on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, YouTube, DLive, Twitch, and Daily Motion. Prefer to listen on the go? The audio version is streaming on most major podcast outlets. Until we meet again, take what you've learned, sip slow, speak truth, and remember, transformation starts within. Powered by the Black Diamond Consultations Network.